Look around you right now. Your room is quiet. Your phone is in your hand. Your mind is full of thoughts you don't even say out loud. And deep inside, you're waiting. Waiting for something to change. Waiting for someone to notice you. Waiting for someone to save you. Maybe you tell yourself, one day everything will be okay. One day I'll get my chance. One day someone will come and pull me out of this. But let me ask you something. How many one days have already passed? Exactly. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not some mentor, not some miracle opportunity. Everyone is busy fighting their own battles. When you cry silently at night, nobody hears it. When your mind is breaking, nobody sees it. When you feel like giving up, the world doesn't stop. The sun still rises, people still move, life keeps going. And you stay stuck. Same place, same excuses, same waiting. You think someone will understand your pain and come fix everything? No. People only show up when they see you trying. People only support those who are already moving forward. No one rescues someone who refuses to stand. That's the brutal truth. It's harsh, it's unfair, but it's real. And maybe it hurts to hear this, but this is exactly what you need. Because the moment you realize you are on your own, everything changes. No more waiting, no more blaming, no more hoping for a miracle. Just action, just responsibility, just you versus your life. And trust me, that's when your real story begins. You've been lying to yourself. Not once, not twice, but every single day. You wake up, you scroll, you think, you delay, and then you tell yourself the same comforting lie. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow. That word has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Because tomorrow feels safe. Tomorrow doesn't demand effort. Tomorrow doesn't require sacrifice. Tomorrow doesn't force you to face who you really are. But here's the truth you keep running from. Tomorrow is a trap. It's a soft pillow your mind gives you so you don't have to fight today. You say you want to change your life, but your actions say you're comfortable staying the same. You say you're tired of being stuck, but you repeat the same habits that keep you there. You say you want success, but you're addicted to comfort. And comfort is killing you slowly. Not with pain, but with silence. You don't even realize it's happening. Every hour you waste, every excuse you make, every moment you choose easy over necessary, you're building a life you don't want. Brick by brick, day by day. You're not stuck because life is hard. You're stuck because you're avoiding what's hard. Let that sink in. You're not waiting for the right time. You're hiding from the right action. And deep down, you know it. You feel it when you're alone. You feel it when you see others moving forward. You feel it when that quiet voice in your head whispers, "You could be more than this." But instead of listening, you distract yourself. More scrolling, more videos, more temporary escapes. Anything to avoid facing the truth. You are wasting your own potential. No one is doing this to you. Not your situation, not your past, not your environment. You. You are the reason you're still here. And that's not meant to break you. It's meant to wake you up. Because if you're the reason you're stuck, then you're also the reason you can get out. But first, you have to stop lying.
Stop saying, "I'll start tomorrow." Stop pretending you don't know what needs to be done. Stop acting like you're waiting for motivation. Motivation is a myth. Action comes first, then motivation follows, not the other way around. You don't need to feel ready. You need to start anyway. Because every second you wait, your future version is paying the price. A weaker version, a more frustrated version, a version that looks back at today and wishes you had the courage to begin. But courage doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. Messy action, imperfect steps, uncomfortable moves. That's where change lives. Not in your thoughts, not in your plans, not in your tomorrows. Right here, right now. So ask yourself, how many more tomorrows are you going to waste? How many more chances are you going to delay? How much longer are you going to sit there, knowing exactly what you need to do, but choosing not to do it? Because remember, nobody is coming to save you. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to save yourself. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not later, now.
There's a version of you, a stronger one, a sharper one, a disciplined, focused, unstoppable version of you. And you've seen glimpses of him in your thoughts, in your imagination, in those rare moments when you felt like, I could actually become something. But then you went back to your old self, because becoming that person, it's uncomfortable. It demands more than motivation. It demands sacrifice. And that's where most people run. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because you refuse to let go of who you currently are. Let that hit you. You want a new life, but you're holding on to old habits. You want success, but you're still thinking like the same person who created your current situation. That doesn't work. You can't build a new life with an old identity. You can't expect different results with the same mindset. And deep down, you already know what needs to change. It's your routine. It's your discipline. It's your excuses. It's your addiction to comfort. But instead of facing that, you keep negotiating with yourself. I'll start next week. I'll try a little bit today. I'll do it when I feel ready. No, that's not transformation. That's delay. Real change is violent. It's not pretty. It's not smooth. It's not comfortable. It's waking up when you don't want to. It's working when you feel tired. It's saying no to things you enjoy for a future you haven't seen yet. It's choosing discipline over dopamine every single time. Because the truth is, your feelings don't matter. Your mood doesn't matter. Your excuses don't matter. Results don't care how you feel. Success doesn't ask if you're comfortable. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. And right now, you're full of potential, but empty on action. That's the gap. That's the reason you're not where you want to be. Not because you can't, but because you won't. You won't do what's required consistently. You won't stay disciplined when it gets boring. You won't push when it gets hard. And until that changes, nothing changes. You have to become someone else. Not physically, but mentally. A person who does what needs to be done regardless of how they feel. A person who doesn't wait for motivation because they don't need it. A person who keeps promises to themselves. That's the identity shift. And it's painful because it requires killing the old version of you, the lazy one, the distracted one, the excuse-making one. You can't carry that version forward. It has to go. And no one is going to do that for you. No one is going to force you to grow. No one is going to drag you into discipline. You have to choose it every day.
even when it's boring, even when it hurts, even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching, because that's where your real character is built. Not in public, not in front of people, but in silence, in those moments where you have a choice, easy or necessary, comfort or growth, old you or new you. And every time you choose comfort, you delay your own evolution. Every time you choose discipline, you become stronger, little by little, day by day, until one day you don't recognize who you used to be. But that day will never come if you keep choosing the easier path. So decide, right now, who are you going to be? The person who keeps talking about change, or the person who becomes it? Because nobody is coming to save you, and the person you need to become is waiting on the other side of your discipline. Not tomorrow, not someday, now.
Nobody talks about this part. Everyone loves the idea of success, the results, the recognition, the moment when everything finally clicks. But no one shows you the price. And there is always a price, a heavy one. Becoming someone great is not exciting. It's lonely. It's waking up early when the world is still asleep and realizing there's no one there to clap for you. It's working in silence with no validation, no applause, no guarantee that it will even work. It's sitting alone with your thoughts, fighting battles no one else can see. And sometimes it feels like you're losing. That's the part people don't show. The nights where your mind is loud, doubts creeping in, asking you, is this even worth it? The days where you're tired, mentally drained, but you still have to keep going. No breaks, no shortcuts, no one coming to carry you. Just you, alone. And this is where most people quit. Not because they can't continue, but because they can't handle the loneliness. Because when you start changing, you start outgrowing people. Your mindset shifts, your habits change, your priorities become different. And suddenly, you don't fit in the same spaces anymore. The conversations feel empty, the distractions feel pointless. The people around you feel distant. And that hurts. Because growth requires separation. You can't evolve and stay the same at the same time. So you lose people. Not always physically, but emotionally. You become different, and not everyone will understand that. Some will question you, some will doubt you, some will even try to pull you back to who you used to be, because your growth makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of what they're not doing. So they'll say things like, "You've changed. You're too serious now. You don't enjoy life anymore." But what they really mean is, "You're no longer like us." And that's the price. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. You have to be okay with walking alone. You have to be okay with not being validated. Because if you depend on people's approval, you will never become who you're meant to be. Real growth happens in isolation, in those quiet moments where no one is watching, no one is praising, no one is supporting, and you still choose to continue. That's strength. That's discipline. That's transformation. And it's not glamorous. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. It's uncertain. But it's necessary. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you that most people will never reach. A version that doesn't need validation. A version that doesn't fear being alone. A version that moves with purpose,
not emotion. But to get there, you have to pay the price. You have to sacrifice comfort. You have to sacrifice distractions. You have to sacrifice the version of you that wants the easy path. And here's the hardest truth. You have to sacrifice people. Not because you hate them, but because you refuse to stay the same. And that choice? It's yours. No one is forcing you. No one is guiding you. No one is saving you. You are walking this path alone. And that's what makes it powerful. Because when you finally reach where you want to be, you'll know one thing for sure. You earned it. Not because someone helped you, not because someone gave you a shortcut, but because you endured what most people avoid. The silence, the loneliness, the struggle, and you didn't quit. So if it feels hard right now, good. If it feels lonely, good. If it feels like no one understands you, good. That means you're on the right path. Because nobody is coming to save you. And the person you're becoming is built in the moments where you feel most alone. Keep going.
There comes a moment, a silent, heavy moment, where everything inside you starts to collapse. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally, internally. It's the point where the pressure builds up so much you don't know if you can carry it anymore. You wake up, but you feel tired. You try to focus, but your mind is scattered. You try to stay strong, but something inside you feels cracked. And no one sees it. From the outside, you look normal. You smile when needed. You respond when spoken to. But inside, it's chaos, doubt, fear, overthinking, frustration, all at once. And the worst part is, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should just stop. That voice, it gets louder at your breaking point. Because when you're at your weakest, your mind becomes your biggest enemy. It reminds you of every failure, every mistake, every time you started and didn't finish. It replays your past just to convince you you're not capable. And if you're not careful, you'll believe it. You'll start slowing down. You'll start hesitating. You'll start pulling back from the very thing that could change your life. Not because it's impossible, but because it feels overwhelming. And that's how most people lose. Not in one big failure, but in small moments of doubt. Moments where they choose to stop instead of push. Moments where they listen to fear instead of action. Moments where they say, "I'll try again later." But later never comes. Because once you step back, it becomes easier to stay back. And that's the trap. The breaking point isn't there to destroy you. It's there to test you, to see who you really are when everything feels heavy. When motivation is gone, when energy is low, when nothing feels exciting anymore. That's when your true character shows. Not when it's easy, not when you feel inspired, but when you don't feel like doing anything and you do it anyway. That's strength. But most people don't reach that level. They give in. They escape. They distract themselves. They choose temporary relief over long-term growth. And slowly, they drift back to where they started. Not because they had to, but because they couldn't handle the pressure. So ask yourself, what are you going to do when you hit that point? When everything inside you says stop, will you listen or will you keep going? Because that decision, that exact moment,
defines everything. It separates people who talk from people who become. And here's the truth you need to understand. The pressure you feel right now, it's not your enemy. It's shaping you. It's forcing you to grow. It's pushing you beyond the version of yourself that couldn't handle this. But growth feels like breaking. That's why most people avoid it. They think something is wrong when in reality, something is changing. You are changing. And yes, it's uncomfortable. It's painful. It makes you question everything. But that's part of the process. You don't become stronger without resistance. You don't become better without struggle. And you don't become unstoppable before first feeling like you're about to fall apart. That's the truth. So when you feel like you're breaking, don't run. Don't stop. Don't escape. Stand still. Feel it. Face it. And keep moving anyway. Even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if you're unsure. Because nobody is coming to save you. And if you quit at your breaking point, you'll never know how close you were to becoming something greater. This is your test. This is your moment. And what you do right now will decide who you become. So don't fold. Don't step back. Don't give up. Because the strongest version of you is built right here, at your lowest point. Keep going.
At some point, you have to stop explaining your life and start owning it. No more blaming your past. No more pointing at your circumstances. No more saying, I didn't have the right support. I didn't get the right opportunity. I wasn't born in the right place. Enough, because none of that changes anything. Excuses don't build results. They build comfort. And comfort is exactly what's keeping you stuck. You've been trained to justify everything. If you fail, there's a reason. If you delay, there's an excuse. If you quit, there's a story to protect your ego. But let's be honest, those reasons aren't helping you. They're hiding you. Hiding you from responsibility. Hiding you from effort. Hiding you from the truth. And the truth is simple. You are responsible for where you are, for what you do, for what you don't do. Not because it's fair, but because it's real. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control what you do next. And that's where power lives. Not in blaming, not in complaining, but in ownership. Extreme ownership, where you stop saying, this happened to me, and start saying, what am I going to do about it? That shift changes everything, because the moment you take full responsibility, you take back control. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more depending. Just action, just decisions, just discipline. And yes, it's harder, because now you can't hide, you can't pretend, you can't escape. If something goes wrong, it's on you. If you don't progress, it's on you. If you waste time, it's on you. That level of responsibility, most people avoid it because it removes every excuse they've been holding on to. And without excuses, there's nowhere to hide. Just truth. Raw, uncomfortable truth. But that's also where your growth begins. Because when everything is your responsibility, everything is also within your power. Think about that. No one can stop you. No one can limit you. No one can decide your outcome, except you. And that's terrifying, but it's also freeing. Because now you don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need the perfect moment. You just need to act. Even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Because discipline is not about motivation, it's about commitment. Doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. That's the standard. And once you adopt that mindset, everything changes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop delaying decisions. You stop choosing easy over necessary. You become sharper, more focused, more dangerous. Because now you don't lie to yourself. You don't sugarcoat reality. You see things as they are, and you act accordingly. That's what separates people. Not talent, not luck, not background, but standards. The standards you set for yourself and the standards you refuse to break. So raise them. No more average thinking, no more weak decisions, no more excuses. You either do it or you don't. Simple. And if you don't, accept the result. Don't complain, don't blame, don't explain. Because at the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you, and the only person who can change your life is the one staring back at you in the mirror. So decide, right now, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to take control? Because you can't do both. And the moment you choose ownership is the moment your life starts to change. No shortcuts, no handouts, no rescue. Just you and what you choose to do next.
This is the part nobody wants. No hype, no excitement, no instant results. Just repetition. Over and over again. Doing the same things every single day. Even when it feels pointless. Even when it feels like nothing is changing. This is where dreams go to die. Not because people aren't capable, but because they get bored. They crave excitement. They chase motivation. They want quick wins. But real success? It's built in boredom. It's built in the quiet, repetitive actions that no one talks about. Waking up at the same time, showing up when you don't feel like it, doing the work again and again and again. No applause, no recognition. Just effort. Consistent, disciplined effort. And most people can't handle that. They start strong. They feel motivated. They push hard for a few days, maybe a few weeks. Then they slow down. Because it's not exciting anymore. Because it feels repetitive. Because it feels boring. And that's exactly where they lose. Because they think boredom means something is wrong. But boredom is the process. It means you're doing the right things consistently. It means you're no longer relying on emotion. You're relying on discipline. And discipline is not loud. It's quiet. It doesn't give you instant rewards. It doesn't make you feel amazing every day. But it builds something stronger than motivation ever could. Stability, consistency, control. While others are chasing feelings, you're building habits. While others are waiting to feel ready, you're already moving. That's the difference. And it doesn't look impressive in the beginning. No big changes, no dramatic transformation, no overnight success. Just small actions, repeated daily. But over time, those small actions compound. They stack, they grow. Until one day, you look back and realize how far you've come. But that only happens if you don't quit, if you don't get distracted, if you don't chase something new every time things feel slow. Because the truth is, slow progress is still progress. But most people don't respect slow. They want fast. They want visible. They want validation. And when they don't get it, they stop.
That's why they stay the same, because they never stay long enough in the boring phase. They never push through the repetition. They never commit to the process. They quit before the results show up. And then they say, it didn't work. No, you didn't stay consistent. You didn't give it enough time. You didn't trust the process. Because if you did, you would have seen the results. Not immediately, but eventually. That's how this works. There's no shortcut. There's no secret. There's no hack. Just consistency. Relentless, boring consistency. Doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Even when no one is watching. Even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because something is happening. You're building discipline. You're strengthening your mindset. You're becoming someone who can be trusted by yourself. And that's powerful. Because once you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. No more doubt, no more hesitation, no more broken promises. Just action. Daily action. And that's what separates you. Not talent, not luck, but your ability to stay consistent when it's boring, when it's repetitive, when it's slow. Because that's where most people fall off. And if you can stay there, if you can keep going, if you can embrace the boredom, then you're already ahead, miles ahead. Because nobody is coming to save you. And success doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. So stop chasing excitement. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop looking for something new. And start showing up. Every day, no matter what. Because in the end, it's not about how hard you go once. It's about how long you can keep going. And if you can master that, you win.
You think you have time. That's the most dangerous belief you're holding on to. You wake up every day like there's always tomorrow, like there's always another chance, like you can afford to delay again and again and again. But what if you're wrong? What if time isn't as patient as you think? Because here's the reality. Time doesn't wait. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't pause. It doesn't care about your plans, your excuses, or your comfort. It keeps moving, second by second, minute by minute, day by day. And every moment you waste, you never get it back. Ever. Let that hit you. Right now, as you're listening to this, time is passing. Your life is moving forward, whether you act or not. And that's the scary part, because you don't notice it at first. It feels slow. It feels like nothing is changing. But then, one day, you look back, and years have passed. Years gone. And you're still in the same place, same mindset, same habits, same excuses. And suddenly, it hits you. I wasted so much time. But by then, it's too late to get those years back. That's how it happens, not in one big moment, but in small delays. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. I just need a little more time. That little more time turns into months. Months turn into years. And before you realize it, you've built a life of hesitation. A life where you kept waiting instead of doing. And now you're behind. Not because you weren't capable, but because you didn't act when you had the chance. That's the truth. Time is the one thing you can't negotiate with. You can't earn more of it. You can't save it. You can't rewind it. Once it's gone, it's gone. So the question is, what are you doing with the time you have right now? Are you using it, or are you wasting it? Be honest. How many hours do you lose every day? Scrolling, overthinking, delaying, doing things that don't move your life forward. And you know it. You feel it. That guilt. That quiet voice in your head saying, you should be doing more. But instead of listening, you ignore it. You distract yourself.
Because facing the truth is uncomfortable, but ignoring it doesn't stop time. It just makes the consequences worse. Because every day you delay, you fall further behind. Not compared to others, but compared to who you could have been. That version of you, the one with discipline, focus, and results, it's slipping away. Not because it's impossible, but because you're not acting. And that should scare you. Because potential means nothing without action. Nothing. You can have the best ideas, the biggest dreams, the strongest intentions, but if you don't move, none of it matters. Time will pass anyway, with or without your progress. So you have two choices. You either use time or you lose time. There's no middle ground. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Because habits get stronger, comfort gets deeper, excuses get easier. And before you know it, you're trapped. Not by your situation, but by your own patterns. That's why you have to act now, not later, not tomorrow, now. Because right now is the only moment you actually have. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but this moment, this exact second, is in your control. And what you do with it matters more than you think. Because your future is built in moments like this. Small decisions, tiny actions, repeated daily. That's how change happens. Not in some big dramatic moment, but in quiet choices. The choice to start, the choice to continue, the choice to stop wasting time. And it's not easy, because urgency creates pressure. It forces you to face reality. It removes your comfort. It demands action. But that pressure, it's necessary. Because without urgency, you stay the same. You stay comfortable. You stay stuck. And comfort is expensive. It costs you your future. It costs you your potential. It costs you the life you could have lived. So stop acting like you have unlimited time. You don't. Stop delaying what you know you need to do. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Because nobody is coming to save you. And time is not slowing down for you. It's moving right now. And if you don't move with it, you'll be left behind. So decide, right now, what are you going to do with the time you have? Waste it or use it? Because one day, you'll run out. And when that day comes, the only thing that will matter is what you did with the time you were given. So don't wait, don't hesitate, don't delay. Because time isn't waiting for you, and neither should you.
Look at yourself now. Not who you used to be, not who you thought you were, but who you are becoming. Because something has changed. Not overnight, not in one big moment, but slowly, silently. Through every decision you made when it was hard, through every time you chose discipline over comfort, through every moment you refused to quit, you started transforming. At first, it didn't feel real. You still had doubts. You still had moments of weakness. You still questioned if it was working. But you didn't stop. And that's what made the difference. Because most people stop before they see change. You didn't. You kept showing up, even when it was boring, even when it was painful, even when it felt like nothing was happening. And now, you're not the same person anymore. Your mindset is sharper. Your focus is stronger. Your discipline is deeper. You don't react the same way. You don't think the same way. You don't live the same way. Things that used to distract you don't control you anymore. Things that used to stop you don't even slow you down now. Because you built something inside yourself. Control. And that's powerful. Because once you have control, you're not easily shaken. You don't rely on motivation. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You don't need validation. You move, because that's who you are now. And here's the truth. This version of you didn't come from comfort. It came from pain, from pressure, from loneliness, from discipline, from consistency. All the things most people avoid. That's why most people never become this. But you did. Because you stayed, you endured, you faced yourself and chose to grow anyway. That's what makes this different. You didn't get lucky. You didn't get rescued. You didn't wait for someone to save you. You built yourself, piece by piece, day by day. And now, you carry a different energy, a quiet confidence, not loud, not arrogant, but undeniable. You don't need to prove anything because your actions speak, your discipline shows, your results follow. And the best part? You know it didn't come easy. You remember the struggle. You remember the doubt. You remember the days you almost quit, but you didn't. And that's why you're here. Stronger, sharper, more focused than ever. But don't get comfortable, because this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Because the moment you stop pushing, you start slipping. The moment you relax, you start losing your edge. And you didn't come this far just to fall back. So stay locked in, stay disciplined, stay focused. Because growth doesn't stop, it evolves. And now, you have a new responsibility to maintain what you've built, to protect your mindset, to keep becoming better every single day. Because the world hasn't changed. It's still competitive. It's still demanding. It's still unforgiving. But now, you're different. Now, you're ready. Not because it's easier, but because you've become stronger. And that's what matters. Because at the end of the day, nobody came to save you. You saved yourself. And that realization, it changes everything. It builds a level of confidence that can't be taken away because it's earned through effort, through discipline, through pain. And now, you stand as proof that change is possible, proof that discipline works, proof that when you take control, everything shifts. But remember, this version of you is not permanent. It requires maintenance. It requires effort. It requires consistency every single day. So don't go back. Don't fall into old habits. Don't forget what it took to get here. Because you didn't come this far to become that person again. You've already crossed that line. Now, there's only one direction. Forward. Always forward. Because nobody is coming to save you. And you don't need them anymore. You've already become who you needed.
This is it. No more buildup, no more preparation, no more waiting. Just truth. Raw. Unfiltered. Final. You've heard it before. You've felt it in pieces. You've tried to ignore it. But now, there's no escaping it. Nobody is coming to save you. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you a better life. No one is going to understand your pain and magically fix everything. No one is going to carry your weight while you sit and hope. Because that's not how this works. This is your life, your responsibility, your choices, your consequences. And whether you accept it or not, it's all on you. Every result you have, every situation you're in, every direction your life is going, it's shaped by what you do or what you avoid. And that's the part that's hard to accept because it removes every excuse. It removes every comfort story. It forces you to face the truth. You are in control. And control is heavy because now you can't blame anyone else. You can't point fingers. You can't say, it's not my fault, because even if it wasn't your fault, it's still your responsibility to fix it, to change it, to move forward. That's the rule. And it doesn't change for anyone. Life doesn't give special treatment. It doesn't slow down because you're struggling. It doesn't adjust because you're not ready. It moves relentlessly, and you either move with it or you get left behind. That's it. No middle ground, no shortcuts, no rescue. And maybe that sounds harsh. Maybe it feels unfair. But look deeper. It's also power. Because if no one is coming to save you, then no one can stop you either. No one controls your effort. No one controls your discipline. No one controls your decisions. That's all you. Which means your future is in your hands. Not in luck, not in timing, not in someone else's approval. In you. And that's where everything changes. Because now, you don't wait. You don't hesitate. You don't look around for permission. You act. You move. You decide. Even when it's hard. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when you're unsure. Because you understand something most people don't. Waiting is losing. Delaying is losing. Depending is losing. And you're done losing. You've seen what it costs. The wasted time. The missed opportunities. The frustration of knowing you could have done more. You felt that, and you don't want to feel it again. So you choose differently. You choose action. You choose discipline. You choose responsibility. Every single day. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And over time, that choice builds something inside you. Strength, focus, clarity, a version of you that doesn't need saving because you've already taken control. And that's the goal. Not to wait for help, but to become the kind of person who doesn't need it. Self-reliant, disciplined, unstoppable. Because when you reach that level, everything changes. You don't fear challenges. You don't avoid pressure. You don't run from responsibility. You face it, head on, because you know you can handle it. Not because it's easy, but because you've trained yourself to endure. That's the difference. And it all comes back to this one truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Not now, not later, not ever. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop looking for something outside of you, because everything you need is already within you. The strength, the discipline, the ability to change your life. It's all there. You just have to use it. So this is your moment, right now. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. This is where you decide. Are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to take control? Because once you make that decision, everything shifts. Your mindset, your actions, your results, your life. And when you look back one day, you won't remember the excuses. You won't remember the delays. You'll remember the moment you decided, no one is coming, so I will become everything I need. That's the moment everything begins. So stand up, take control, and move. Because this is your life, and it's not waiting for you. And neither should you.